Well, good morning. And it's just after 10 o'clock on this Tuesday morning. And believe it or not, it is Tuesday, April 1st, 2025. I can't believe it's already April already. March just really flew by despite all the cold temperatures. So thanks for joining us today. This is our coffee break hour. You've been seeing a bunch of us come in and out over the last few weeks. Last week I was with Jean, and today I'm going to be joined by Jason Doris too in just a few minutes. So yes, it's April Fool's Day, but this is not a joke. There's a lot of news to get through today. We're going to touch on 401Gives Day today too, because I'm looking down at my phone, and this campaign is run by the United Way, and they've already opened at 6 o'clock this morning, and they've already raised more than $1 million for more than 360 local nonprofit organizations. So that's good in the spirit of giving. So we'll get to that in just a bit. In the meantime, let's chat about some of our top stories. This is the big one today that we've been reporting on Sunrise all morning long too. Jury selection starting for Karen Reed's retrial in Dedham, Massachusetts. So here we go again. The Bristol County woman, as we know, is accused of killing her Boston police officer boyfriend. Her first trial ended in a mistrial last year. So now jury selection, they tried to get the case thrown out. That didn't work. Jury selection now could take 2 weeks or more to complete. So we have Katie Benoit on that story, and I want to show you some of those proceedings. Take a look.
Okay, Karen Reed, can you please stand? Karen Reed, you are now set at the bar to be tried, and these good men and women who I shall call to pass between the Commonwealth and you upon your trial. If you'd object to any of them, you must do so before they are sworn. You have a right to challenge any 16 jurors without giving reason. Thank you.
Okay. Good morning, jurors. My name is Beverly Cannoni. I'm a judge of this court, and I want to welcome you here today and give you some idea on what you will be asked to do. So, jury service, as you know, is one of the most important duties we have as citizens. We appreciate that you're here, ready, willing, and able to serve if you're called upon to do so, and our system of justice simply does not work without you, so we thank you.
So that's just a preview of what's to come, a really big day. NBC 10's Katie Benoit, she followed the first trial. She's going to follow this one as well, and she'll have a report coming up today in less than 2 hours, coming up at noon. As we know, this has been the subject of a lot of documentaries and movies as well. So we're all going to be glued to that, I'm sure. I also want to check in on the weather because it's spring, Jason, which feels really good. A little soggy out there when we started. Mario, of course, was complaining because it was raining, but it wasn't that cold. It was pretty mild. So we'll take what we can get, huh? What are we looking at today?
Yeah, that's right. We got off to a little bit of a slow start with regards to the rain. The secondary little burst of rain that we had over the last couple of hours, a little bit more robust maybe than what we were expecting, but it's continued to depart the region. Most of the activity now towards the Cape of the Islands and really just the outer fringes of Acushnet, just dealing with a little bit of that residual rain coming down. But as you mentioned, a fairly mild start just because of all of the clouds in place last night. Temperatures in the 40s widespread across the region. And as we go forward over the next couple of hours, we're actually going to see conditions rapidly improve. So we're expecting mostly sunny skies to emerge. Temperatures should be in the low to mid 50s, a really nice, pleasant afternoon across the area. It'll kind of set the stage with some clear skies tonight, high pressure in charge for one of our colder nights on the 10-day forecast. Everyone should be basically in the 20s tomorrow morning, so it'll be a little bit of a rude awakening. Tomorrow overall, a little bit cooler compared to what we're expecting today, but still a fair amount of sunshine, and kind of enjoy it because as we go forward over the next couple of days, Allison, things are going to get a little bit more unsettled, and this weekend is looking a little bit sloppy once again. So coming up at noon, I'll break down some of the latest information that's coming in right now.
All right, that sounds good. We appreciate that, Jason. Thanks. Just saw your dad walk by too. Another story we're following today. This is all about trials, it seems like this week, and especially today. We want to talk about this. The former North Kingstown basketball coach who's accused of performing so-called fat tests on students. We've been reporting on this for years. Well, now some of those folks, victims, say they were allegedly naked when these fat tests were happening. Here he is, the man charged with this. He has pleaded not guilty to 1 count of second-degree sexual assault and 1 count of second-degree child molestation. So we're going to be following that, not just today, but throughout the week as well. Also happening right now, this was going last night into the early morning hours, in fact. We're talking about Cory Booker, Democratic senator who we know quite well. He kind of had a marathon speech on the Senate floor. It started last night. He is from New Jersey, as we know. He does have some ties to some high-profile political people around here, too. His address aims to protect, he says, actions taken by President Trump's administration. And he's touching upon a few issues, including the president's actions to try to go around Congress and the power of the purse, if you will. So that is Senator Booker. We are keeping an eye on him throughout the day as well, and we'll touch on that later today at noon and 4 o'clock forward. Also, a Trump administration, still talking about politics, task force is reviewing Harvard University's federal funding. Harvard, of course, up in Cambridge and Boston. We're talking about billions of dollars here at stake, despite their huge endowment. The administration is also accusing Harvard of not doing enough to address anti-Semitism on campus. Harvard, of course, is not alone when it comes to looking at cuts, federal funding cuts amongst the Ivy League. Columbia is another school that's been dealing with this, and there's been a shakeup at the top as well with the president there too. So the administration accusing Harvard in this case of not doing enough to address anti-Semitism on campus, and they could risk losing billions, not millions, but billions of dollars. All right, how about something happy? The NASA astronauts who spent 9 months at the International Space Station, the ISS, are now talking about that experience. I was listening to some of what they had to say throughout the morning, and they're being pretty positive for sure. When people said, do you feel like you were abandoned, stranded? They're like, we were just focusing on getting home and having a good experience with one another and doing our duty. Sonny Williams is a native of Needham, Massachusetts, as we know. And the big takeaway is that they're saying that they're grateful. They don't hold a grudge. They're instead grateful for their teammates and all the support they've had along the way. They were aware that so many people at home were hoping they would get back. So let's hear it in their own words.
Of course, we heard some things, and I'll let, obviously hand this off to Butch, heard some stuff from our friends and family that people were interested and wondering what was going on and concerned about our health and all that kind of stuff while we were up there. But I mean, we were just part of the team doing the job, filling in wherever we could, and then knowing that there's rotational flights and we will be coming home eventually on a rotational flight.
All right, so that's the latest on that. We'll keep an eye on that as well. A lot of people are saying how dramatically different they look since they've been in space for so long, as you can imagine. All right, so we're happy to have them home for sure. Today is a big day. It is April 1st, 2025, and it's 401Gives Day. This statewide fundraiser started actually during the pandemic as a way for folks to support their local nonprofits when we were in lockdown and everything. And now we're 5 years later, and we're still seeing this fundraiser. It's run by the United Way take off. And I'm checking my phone right now because the number, it keeps ticking and ticking and ticking and changing. So as of right now, we're looking at 10:10 in the morning. 4,894 donors, $1.3 million raised across 571 organizations. What's interesting about 401Gives too is you don't have to be a big nonprofit or even a medium one. A lot of smaller nonprofits are doing this as well. And it's one quick, streamlined way of giving. So I was watching some of the social feeds as well, looking at headquarters, if you will, at United Way, and they were really happy that by a little after 9 o'clock this morning, they went over $1 million. There are some leaderboards. We're also looking at the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Community Center. My goodness, they've already raised more than $89,000. Some of the fundraising happens before today, and then it gets plugged into the platform. And then other parts of the fundraising happens live and in real time. But you can see everybody who's doing their part supporting local nonprofits. A lot of people are saying this is so important right now because a lot of them are facing deep federal funding cuts. The Rhode Island Foundation, one of the largest foundations to give to nonprofits, has been addressing that as well. So this is community to community, peer-to-peer giving, and so far, so good. So again, all kinds of prizes are happening. There are different periods of the day where you can give and prizes are matched, drawings are made. But what I find fascinating about it is how so many Rhode Islanders show up and give, and any amount seems to be meaningful too. That's what I always say anyway. Some folks are giving $5, $25, others thousands. So whatever you can do, it's about supporting community for sure. So thanks for joining us on this coffee break. I will be back up bright and early. 3 a.m. is usually my wake up time. Then I'll meet Mario and the crew here tomorrow morning for Sunrise that starts at 4:30 in the morning all the way till 7. Tomorrow, of course, we'll have an update on the Karen Reed trial. We'll also talk about 401Gives Day, give you an update on the total tallies. They are hoping to reach more than $4.01 million, and I think they're going to do it. We're also going to have an update on your traffic and everything else first thing in the morning. And I'm working on a couple more enterprise stories too. Hopefully I'm going to get one of those on the air by Friday. Some brand new enterprise reporting that I'm looking forward to sharing with you as well. And I think Jean will be back with me next week. We will see. So in the meantime, check us out online, turn210.com, and all of our other social channels as we continue to update stories throughout the day for you right here on NBC 10. Thanks for turning to 10.